The views and opinions expressed by the guests or hosts of this program do not necessarily reflect those of Divine Mercy Radio, Incorporated.
From the studios of Catholic 540 AM, Divine Mercy Radio, this is Meet the Priest. There are over 120 active diocesan and religious order priests in our listening area. Meet the Priest gives you the chance to learn more about these dedicated and interesting people. Now, here's your host for Meet the Priest, Nicole Jungles.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Meet the Priest on Catholic 540 AM Divine Mercy Radio. Here we present you with the opportunity to meet and learn about the devout men in and around our diocese who have an amazing impact on our lives as Catholics. I'm your host, Nicole Jungles, and today we have Father Bill John Acosta Escobar. Welcome,
Hello,
Father.
Everyone. Very happy to be here.
Yes. Now, Father, tell us about what parish you're coming from and kind of what's going on right now.
Well, I'm Father Bill John Acosta Escobar. Normally, I present myself just as Father Bill John. It makes it easier for everyone in the parish.
Yeah.
I'm the pastor of St. Catherine of Siena Catholic School and Parish.
St. Catherine.
Yes. Cool. And I have been there, this is my 4th year at the parish.
Wow. So what do you guys have going on there right now? Because we're recording this end of October. What's going on at the parish?
Well, we, of course, are very excited with our school and all the programs we have around All Saints festivities and solemnity. So with the parish and with parishioners, for example, we're planning to have a small procession of the children from the school and also from parishioners' children who wants to have special customs of their favorite saints and process after the 8 a.m. Morning Mass.
Oh, fun.
So this is one of the nice things we're planning to commemorate this wonderful day. And also on All Souls Day, as we pray for all those beloved relatives and friends who have passed away, we also have special prayers during the day with the school kids as well and with some of the parishioners. We do offer prayers during that day at the Memorial Garden, which is our very own cemetery in the parish, and that's also very special for them. So some of them may bring pictures of the relatives, the people that they love and they miss so much.
That's so sweet. I love that tradition that you have for the kids. It's really fun. So can you tell me about what ministries you're a part of at the parish other than your regular priestly duties?
Well, normally this is one of the biggest things we have in St. Catherine's is we have a great Council of the Knights of Columbus. So I do pray with them a lot and try to work with them a lot regarding the outreach ministries they support doing on behalf of the parish. We're right now working on a project which is called the Codes for Kids, and they handle all the details about it. But this is something that also we started last year. It was a great success because it shows there is a great need, especially for kids coming up this winter as well. So they're working also with the parishes on the Thanksgiving baskets. We have already registered like 60 families who are in need of that as well. And so I try to be involved in the parish school as much as I can.
How big is the school?
It is 274 students right now.
That's a pretty big amount of students. Wow.
And we're very happy for that as well. We also, are getting started projects preparing for Our Lady of Guadalupe celebration, which is going to be always a big feast, and in our parish nowadays becoming one of the biggest celebrations in all the United States. And it is good because at St. Catherine's we have people who joined to this celebration, not only Hispanics but also many of the parishioners who also develop a special love for our Blessed Mother to celebrate also that as well. And I'm going to have 3 weddings that day, and that Our Lady of Guadalupe Mass, Hispanic couples. So it's a special occasion for the parish as we celebrate, and especially for the couples who want to do it as a community and they don't have that many relatives in town.
Sure.
So they feel that, yes, the whole family, bigger family size of the parish, is going to be celebrating that special day for them. And then now we're getting ready also for many other activities like parent services, all the schedule for the Christmas services.
You're starting planning all of that now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm part also of the Presbyteral Council of the diocese, so we do have a lot of meetings in supporting and giving advice to the bishop and things that matters to our diocese. What else can I think? I mean, we are always involved in many things because I'd like to know what's going on.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. When is the celebration you were talking about for Our Lady of Guadalupe? Can you talk more about when that is? And do you have like a relationship to Our Lady of Guadalupe specifically?
Yes, like any Hispanic, normally we do develop, since little ones, a special love for our Blessed Mother. Mm-hmm. When I came to this country, of course, the biggest connection with the Hispanic culture here present, or which the majority are Mexicans, have, is Our Lady of Guadalupe. You see? So I developed through them and working with them and planning all these celebrations, a special love also for that advocation. In fact, this is one of the things that I remember always when I am somehow with doubts or struggle regarding decisions to make.
Right.
You see, I remember those phrases that our Blessed Mother said to San Juan Diego when he was concerned, you see. I heard those words that our Blessed Mother Guadalupe told San Juan Diego when he, after a second operation, was worried that his ankle was very sick.
Yeah.
And she said to him, well, don't worry, Juan Diego. I am here. I am not your mother. You see? I don't know if that came out well or not. Should I repeat that as well or not?
It was fine.
It was fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So, and then I developed that special connection with our Blessed Mother, and I turn to her always, you see, listening to those voices from the story of the apparitions of Our Lady Guadalupe to San Juan Diego. So we do have Mañanitas, which is normally the serenade we traditionally do to our Blessed Mother, and it's the night before the 12th. So that Sunday at 11:30 p.m. we'll have a congregation and singing a serenade to our Blessed Mother.
Beautiful.
It is very nice. Yeah.
And what was the term that you used? What's it called?
Is Mañanitas.
Mañanitas. I like
which
that.
Is a serenade mainly to our Blessed Mother. It's also part on the Mexican, but also all Latin America, that sometimes when you want to surprise the person that you love very much, you wake her up with music.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
And normally you bring mariachis, or if you're a cantor, you do it yourself with music and everything. You may end up waking up everybody else in the neighborhood, but it's a nice tradition because it shows our love, you see. And that's Mañanitas also mean. We are waiting for the date 12 to come, so we welcome that day with this special music to our Blessed Mother. And all the songs are Marian songs.
Beautiful.
And there are a lot of songs written for Our Lady of Guadalupe. So, and on the day we'll have the regular masses, you see, for our feast. But we have a big mass on the 12th at 7 p.m. As I told you, we're going to have some weddings, 3 weddings that night on this wonderful occasion.
Beautiful. Well, it's interesting hearing you talk about like the history of Our Lady of Guadalupe. My husband and I went to Mexico over the summer, and we went to an event, and they did a beautiful tribute to Our Lady of Guadalupe, and they did kind of a reenactment of the history, and then also just bringing Christianity to Mexico, and it was just incredible, all of the music, like you're saying, and the history and the culture, and it's so incredible to me. And
I invite the listeners to go online and check the wonderful documentaries that are being done
about Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Yes, and their analysis of her body, the pictures, the position of their hands, of their legs, the head, all those that were able to convert the first Mexicans, native Mexicans, into Christianity. They were able to read her image as a written gospel.
Wow.
And it's so much powerful what they can find nowadays in her eyes. Everything that is, gave us that security that this was a divine intervention.
Wow.
And in fact, it's my understanding that worldwide in the church there are only 2 objects that are considered supernatural, which is the Shroud of Turin and Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Wow. So do you have specific resources to point the listeners to? Like you said, there are a few documentaries. Are there any particular that you're referencing online?
Well, the majority of them that I know by name are in Spanish, but there are now some translated into English as well.
Cool. I know that there's the Formed app online. I know they have so many different documentaries. I don't know specifically if there's one for Our Lady of Guadalupe.
There are a few versions of Our Lady of Guadalupe that they have done, like a little movies.
Right.
And it's called like that. It's parents teaching their kids about the story, but as they are doing their own personal drama, family drama or something, to be more attractive for listeners to see that. So, so if you check online those 2 movies about Lady Guadalupe, you will hear how our Blessed Mother nowadays have touched the lives and intervene in the lives of people nowadays.
I love that. That's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing about that. So I want to kind of dig into your background and becoming a priest. Can you kind of talk about your faith, what it was like growing up, some of your background, and maybe what led you to being a priest today?
Well, I was born in Palmira, which is a city nearby Cali, Colombia.
Okay.
And I grew up in a city, and normally in a city you have the churches close by. So our parish was only 3 blocks apart from my home. In a Catholic country, normally you are accustomed to live in a Catholic culture. So the risk with that is that normally when you're growing up, you don't practice really your faith as much as you wish you have done it now when you are getting older. So I was a regular Catholic boy, who went to church early when I was younger by force.
You went through the motions.
Yes, and my mom chasing us around the house. We got to go to Mass. Remember those stories? We hide under the bed, but she was pushing ourselves with the broom or the mom. Get out of there, we need to go to Mass, you see. And I remember those stories as I was 10 and 11, you see. But I grew up seeing our grandmother going faithfully to the church, to daily masses, because she can walk, and being part of the fraternity of the Sacred Heart of Jesus. So she was a member of that as well. And when I think back, one of my favorite prayers, in fact, the ones that I choose for today, I remember her saying those things, so at home or in her group. But then I had a girlfriend when I was 11 years old, but a friend who was a woman.
Wait, when you were how old? 11?
11.
Wow.
It was not dating or anything, but it was one of my friends who happened to was a girl, and she was an altar server.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And she invited me to be part of the altar server group. So I entered more because of her, and because I'm going to have other friends of my age. You see, so it's fun to go to Mass with your family or your parents, but it's more fun when you are with your friends. You see, at that age. So when I became an altar boy, then the church become more another place for me to be and to have fun and to enjoy. So we serve the Masses and we stick around the church grounds with the friends. And that's how I became more and more involved in the life of the church and getting deeply to know more the church, start developing a love for the Eucharist in a bigger sense, and being willing to serve as much as we needed. So when I was 13 or 14, I pretty much spent more days in the week in the church.
Beautiful. With
the youth group, or helping the priests and going to say Masses to some of the mission places that the parish used to have back then. And in doing so, you start noticing things that you liked. You speak about God. You were shy in school because not all my classmates from the school were practicing Catholics.
Sure.
So you start living this life, but you're developing some kind of attitudes that are good. So I started discovering that my friends somehow were coming to talk to me about their personal issues, unlike any other people. So I started developing a sense for becoming, I guess, a better listener.
Yeah, or just like counseling others, or just
yeah,
being
but I
there
was
for
just my
them.
friends, so started becoming somehow proud of myself in that regard that people trust me in the pastor, so that as well. So I was lead to become in charge of the youth group. Well, not really in charge, but being the head of the youth group or
Sure.
planning activities. So we did a lot of activities with the youth group. Then I was coming older, 16. I got involved with the social outreach group of the parish, and we did medical brigades. So we were with doctors and nurses, but we were part of the youth group who were assisting them as they take care of people in the mountains. And I started liking a lot the medicine. So one of my biggest interests, well, I want to be a doctor. At the same time, I say, well, I could be an astronaut. But we don't have those schools in Colombia back then yet. So I say, well, probably the better chance is to be a doctor. And it was in one of those medical brigades that I was able to notice that another lady was very sick, and she was asking for a priest for confession. There were some doctors and nurses there, but she was asking for a priest. And the priests were not able to be there or to get there. And later
And she was dying?
Yeah, she was kind of dying. So that is the image is stuck on my mind. There was also another woman who was doing some in the process of delivering, and I had to be there to assist the nurse, and I thought that was also beautiful. And the mom was speaking about baptism. Oh, we need to baptize the child because this is an emergency. So that also image has taken my mind as well. And then when I talked about this to the pastor, you see how much I was impressed, and these thoughts remain in my mind. He said, well, remember that one of the words that are being used for us as a title is also cura, which means cure. See? And it was the old Latin word in which St. Augustine describes the role of the priest. He is the cure of souls.
The cure of souls. Wow, I like that.
And so the pastor told me, you see, you could be a doctor of the souls.
Whoa, that's
Why
so
you
cool.
don't start going to the discernment group? So
Yeah.
I started doing that, entering that, and that's when I say, well, probably I need to explore the idea of the possibility that the Lord may be calling me to be one of His ministers. I always had the example of excellent pastors in my life. So one of the things that you always think is, if I want to be a priest, probably I would like to be like them.
Yeah, you
Very
had
close
someone
to
you're
the
looking
people,
up to.
doing all the outreach work, all these wonderful things. And so I entered the process of discernment. I entered at the seminary in Cali, Colombia.
When was this?
That was in 1992.
And how old were you?
I was 17.
Okay, so you were
So I just graduated
just out
from
of
high school.
Okay.
And in Colombia, because of the number of vocations back then, you normally have to decide right after high school to enter the regular seminaries, because we didn't have that many adult seminaries. So you enter right after high school like the majority, otherwise you may have no chance to go to the seminary.
And that's specifically in Colombia?
Yes, that was back then.
Right.
And I'm speaking about, almost 30 years ago.
Okay.
So now it has changed a little bit, but somehow it's still kind of the same kind of pattern. If you're interested into the seminary, you have to go right after high school. So you start college at a seminary. And that's what I did in my college, at the seminary in Cali. It's called San Pedro Apostol, San Peter the Apostle Seminary in Cali. When I finished college, you see, I wasn't completely sure, yes, certainly, that you were going to be a priest, because you always have these doubts in your mind. You see, I'm unworthy to be a priest. Is it really my call? What happened if, after the donation, I decided that it was not? Not only the embarrassment, but the frustration.
Yeah.
You see, so all these things have in your mind. But I have the opportunity and the invitation to come here and have an experience of missionary experience. Because the diocese back then was looking to some seminarians or people with formation who will be able to come here and work with Hispanic ministry, to have that missionary experience and perhaps the opportunity to continue my discernment here in the call to the priesthood. So I accepted the invitation. I sent the letters. I was welcome him, and that's how I ended up coming here. And now I'm still here. I have more years now in the United States than in my home country. I came when I was 21. Now I'm 47. And I'm very happy so far, always with the Diocese of Raleigh. So I don't know what kind of other questions.
No, that's awesome. And I just want to take a second. If you're just tuning in, we're sitting down with Father Bill John from St. Catherine of Siena in Wake Forest, who's just talking about becoming a priest. Mm-hmm. So I guess as a follow-up to, so you came to the United States, you were working as a missionary. What were some things you weren't expecting coming from a different country and pursuing the priesthood? Can you talk a little bit about what that might have been like?
Mm-hmm. So I always was interested to see the United States as a missionary place. So when I got the invitation, that was in my mind. Why do they mean missionary place? We always look to the United States as the developed country,
right?
So much powerful. So I was intrigued by that. And I was accustomed to grow up only in the Catholic culture, so we saw growing up a few Protestant churches, but it was not the pattern. So when I came here, one of my biggest surprises was to see, I remember I came to this country on Valentine's Day, February.
Valentine's Day?
Yes, Valentine's Day. So it was raining. We were driving back to the little town, but I still was able to see through the rain little churches. Why do they speak about missionary? I see all these churches.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But then after a while, I started realizing, those are not Catholic churches. Those are Baptist churches,
right.
Lutheran church.
And what state was
Baptist
this
church.
in?
Here in North Carolina.
Oh, you came directly to North Carolina.
Yes, and my first assignment was St. John Parish in Clinton.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And I was working back then with Father Williams. Now it's Monsignor Williams. He welcomed me. He has actually a house for the seminarians, and he called it the Casa Misionera, the mission house. He always had 3 or 4 seminarians there because he was in charge of other missions and parishes around Clinton. And so I was glad that I was not alone in that house. I was happy about everything was new.
Yeah.
See? I didn't experience winter, so I didn't ever know actually what cold actually means.
Yeah.
In Colombia, when it rains, we say, it's getting cold. Well, cold, but the temperature actually doesn't change drastically.
Especially here, though, it's all over the place in North Carolina.
So when I started seeing all these churches that were from different religious denominations, I was surprised. I said, oh my God.
So had you ever met people from other denominations before?
Yeah, but I mean, you keep your distance because they were not your friends or anything. So, and you just try to keep this distance, and especially because when they're growing, starting in countries like Colombia, other countries, normally also they play the distance by saying bad things about the Catholic Church or the priests, or say, well, we'll just keep our distance. But I was overwhelmed by the majority of these other denominations here. So I said, now I understand more what it means. It's a missionary place for Catholics. We have a lot of Mexican communities. The majority of the priests were not able to speak Spanish. So now I was grasping what do they mean by missionary in the United States.
You're figuring out what your purpose is now as a missionary here.
And also, we had the images always in movies about the United States, but you always see these big cities, New York City, Chicago, Miami, or San Francisco in the movie. So you think that all the United States is like that. When I came here to North Carolina, I see a lot of trees and everything. I grew up in a city, so this also
very rural.
Very rural. So now everything is coming more into senses. So I had a wonderful experience in Clinton. The people there was very nice. Monsignor Wall was very nice. Monsignor Williams. And even though we were not able to communicate because his Spanish was limited and I spoke no English, we developed the sign language somehow, way of communication. So he was always very close to us and very concerned and worried that we were doing the right things or the things that he expects us to do. After being there for almost 2 years, You see, I was invited, and I asked actually to the possibility to remain here and continue my discernment here, and they accepted me, and I was sent to St. Mary's Seminary University in Baltimore to go for the theology. So that's where I spent 4 years of getting my theology degree. But always with the idea that I came here to work with the Hispanics.
Yeah.
That was the main thing.
Yeah.
And it was spoken also to me like that. You see, we need a lot of Hispanic ministers. So I got ordained in 2002. My first assignment was in St. Michael's in Cary.
Oh, yes. I got married there.
It's a beautiful church, a beautiful community. I was with Monsignor Wall as my pastor. He was a great mentor and pastor. And this is also one of the priests. Oh, I like this guy because of the way not only he taught, but interact with people. He's involved in everything. So it was a wonderful experience. I was there with other two priests. So I was not by myself. And it's a huge community, but I was working with the youth, but mainly with the Hispanics.
Was the full church built at that point?
Yes.
It was. I feel like at one point I heard they were operating out of a storefront while they were building.
Yes, no, that was before my time.
Okay,
so,
gotcha.
I think they were already 10 years before I was assigned there in 2002 in the new place. So then working with the Hispanics and with the youth group, you see, I spent almost 3 years, St. Michael's, a wonderful experience, wonderful staff, perhaps too much good, you see, because they spoil you so much. And you are the parochial vicar, so everybody loves you because you don't have to make any decisions. So everybody's happy with you. And then I was asked, but I was ordained by Bishop Cosman, and I was asked by him to go and take already the administrator role in one of the small missions in Robbins that is called San Juan Diego, and it belongs to Sacred Heart in Pinehurst, and also to be the Hispanic and sacramental priest for all that San Hills area. So I was working with Monsignor Ingham for almost 6 years at San Antonio Padua when he was the pastor there. And then with Sister Jean and Rayford, she was administrator, but I did the Hispanic ministry there. So I traveled around the kind of triangle, 3 cities in the San Hills area. It was a wonderful experience, but one of the biggest things is because I was happy to go there. Even though I was really happy at St. Michael's, I was very spoiled and everything, very loved. But I say, it's nice to be sent on your own now.
Yeah.
You see, because you are preparing yourself to be a priest, but just to be a pastor too. So that was a big challenge, but a nice challenge.
Right.
You were sent there now on your own. Now you have to take care of a community. And I knew that one of the things that normally happen is, now not everybody's going to like me or love me because now I have to make decisions to say yes or no. You see, but it was fun, and I had a wonderful time and experience there. I was very happy. We had 3 vocations from that area, and especially from Robbins. One of those belongs to us, Father Noé Ramirez. He's now in Rome studying psychology. We're very happy for that as well. So I did have a wonderful experience then. Then after 6 years, Bishop Burbich asked me just to become a pastor in Holy Spirit in Kingston. I was there for 2 years, and while I was doing part of the Camino de Santiago in Spain, I got a call from the Bishop Burbich and say, please, I want you to consider to become the vocations director for the diocese. That was one of my kind of greatest
accomplishments.
Yes, but not because I wanted to, but because I was so surprised.
Yeah,
this is an important role in a diocese to work with the seminarians.
What exactly does that? What do you do as a vocations director?
Yeah, in this diocese, normally back then the vocations director have to work with the recruitment of the new candidates for the seminary, and also to work with seminarians who are already in programs. And it's important because you are the filter or the one who recommends the bishop, you see, about this candidate, this person. Mm-hmm. So it was wonderful because you got to know the people very closely, and you want to provide good advice to the bishop. You want to accompany them as they enter the seminary, work with them in their progress. So it's an important because it's so close to work directly with people and with the life of them. You see, and that's why I say, well, sometimes they desire to have perhaps an older priest, but Bishop asked me to be there. So that's one of the things that I was happy about it, to be able to work in this regard. And at the same time, you ask yourself, oh, my God, you have to give better examples. You have to, once again, play an important role, a model also for those guys who are entering the seminary. So this is pretty much the role of the vocation director. So
cool.
In a way, you're becoming also a formator. So
right. So
you never believe. I wasn't expecting that, you see. So I was happy. I don't know what the bishop saw me, but I'm glad I'm doing this, and I worked there for 3 years. I had a wonderful experience, and that's why I know many of the priests right now in our diocese, because I work close to them in that regard. So it's an important role.
Absolutely.
Because he's the priest for the diocese. And right now, you see, I invite maybe if there is any younger person listening to us to considering responding to a call. No one is perfect. Remember, it's the Lord that does the work in you. And even if you don't feel that you're a good instrument, you see, you have to give the chance to let God work in you and through you, and He will show you the way, because He's the one, it's His work. You are just an instrument, and we are all weak in many different senses, but the Lord will make us always strong. So if you're listening, don't be afraid to call Father Jim McGee. He is the recruiter now, you see, and talk to him. Also, a possibility, at least to assist to those discernment groups.
Yeah, just to talk through how you're feeling.
Mm-hmm. He's the pastor now at St. Peter's Catholic Church in Greenville, and you can easily have access through the internet to his information. So,
and is it on the diocese website?
It is on the diocese website. Mm-hmm.
Great. So I want to quickly, maybe as we're starting to wrap up our conversation, I know you've been talking about kind of how passionate you are about working with the Hispanic communities and ministry. Can you kind of talk about what maybe listeners can do to help support that ministry, or areas that there is help needed?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I also wanted to mention that when I came, I always have, and I was ordained, had the expectation that I will work doing Hispanic ministry most of the time. But through the time being here, you see, being with the bishops, we knew that was no longer the only option, that I have to work as a pastor with the English-speaking community. So when I have these first parishes, I also become somehow to be trained in that regard, you see, because it's also special work, you see. And nowadays, the pastor of St. Catherine's, I never thought also that I would become a pastor of such a big church. And I have been there for 4 years, a nice community, very happy there so far. But it's still constant growing, you see, how to work with people, because every parish is a different parish. And in fact, sometimes every Mass is a different kind of spirit Mass, even though they are in the same parish. But I cannot abandon to work with the Hispanic community, because it's important that also our parishioners, the parishioners, also belong to them. So we continue assisting is in different ways that we help the Hispanics, you see. We are working a lot on fulfilling the catechetical program for those who are adults and have not made their confirmation or the first communion, or they're living together and they need to be married. So there's a lot going on in many of the parishes. They like to go to Mass and everything, but they have not been able to make those steps. So catechizing them and teaching them. When you see sometimes Hispanics you see on the streets or working outside. The majority of them normally are Catholics. So if you're a Catholic, you can feel free to talk to him. If they're Hispanics, normally we all love our Blessed Mother, and mainly Guadalupe nowadays. So if you can say Viva la Virgen de Guadalupe or something to create an interaction, that will help a lot with many of them as well. But they need a lot of prayers. They need the support, of course, and they need always to be treated that this is also their home, their church. So they can engage more, fully participating in all the activities of the parish as well. We are accompanying parents who may not speak English, but the children are growing up here speaking more English than Spanish.
Right.
So sometimes we have to create these sections of having other kind of mentor couples in Spanish who talk to them and work with them, because we see one of the biggest limitations nowadays is that there's children turn teenagers and they may not have learned the vocabulary in Spanish to express, to talk to mom about changes that are going on, concerns and worries, that they will not have that limitation because they start talking to somebody else. And nowadays we know that when they seek counseling or advice, sometimes in public schools or other people, because they speak English, sometimes they will not get the more best advice regarding to our faith, to the things that we believe.
Right.
So this is one of the things that we try to work on it. So if you also work in a parish and when there is a youth group, Hispanic youth group, if you're able to do so and have the patience to talk and spend time with teenagers, offer yourself, you see, and say, well, I would like to coach, perhaps be present to the teenagers, like a mother to another daughter.
Right.
So they will seek advice in somebody who is trustworthy, or at least share the same values, Christian values.
Right.
It will decrease the confusion nowadays among young people. And it will help the parents who want their best for their kids, who want the children to remain Catholics, that they will not get in trouble, you see. But they have this language limitation.
Just having support.
The love is there, you see, and the company is there. But sometimes it's hard. You want to express your feelings and everything to your mom, but you don't have the Spanish language.
Yeah,
mom doesn't have the English language.
Yeah.
And it creates somehow a limitation.
So like a lot of miscommunication or confusion.
Or just is the lack of support, you see. I wish I could talk with my mom about this, but I am not able to.
Right.
So in some parishes, they provide English classes for Hispanics. That also helps sometimes the parents to improve the skills in English so they can talk to their kids. And they are now waking up to see that there is a need and there is a reality to be part of the children's life. When you grew up in a culture that is pretty much Catholic, you don't worry too much.
Yeah.
You see, because no matter if you want to go crazy or wild somehow, but everything is Catholic, so you constantly see the signs, the cruces. Your teachers are Catholics. But here in this culture in which God is somehow hidden in many public places where they spend a lot of time, if there is a need for them to seek help or assistance, sometimes God is not really visible or close to them. So we have to bring that, once again, to make the children more... and teenagers and those who are struggling, that just God is still there, and we have to be the instruments of telling them God is still there, and He wants the best for you, and I may be used as an instrument to help you to grow through these difficult times. So if you are there and want to get involved sometimes with the Hispanics, some of them may need your assistance and require.
Yeah. No, thank you so much for sharing. I've heard of the Hispanic communities and ministries in the churches. I just didn't know what all they did for a lot of the families that they have. So it's really enlightening to hear that from you directly, Father. And
sometimes, we are asked questions that we normally don't know. Like, Father, I want to buy a house. I don't know what to do, what the process of the requirements. So we have to know a little bit about these things so people will not just take advantage of their ignorance. as we see. The same thing with immigrations and lawyers or any type of other lawyers, traffic lawyers or whatever. They normally look at the church to have this information because they say, well, if the church may give this name, we probably can trust this person. So we don't want to go too much on those kind of assistance, but sometimes we are asked to, and we need to provide. I'm very glad with Catholic Charities of the diocese because they offer this kind of assistance, and we easily can redirect people to Catholic Charities, to their offices, either for counseling sometimes, or for the immigration assistance, or for just regular food assistance.
Beautiful. So it looks like we're coming up on time, but I have one last small question to ask you. Have you fulfilled your thought of being a doctor of the soul? Well,
you by the ministry and the spirit, you see that the church, as Pope Francis has described it, nowadays than before, perhaps is becoming this kind of battlefield hospital for people to come. And in that regard, that yes, there is so much spiritual need and desire and longing for people to fulfill that longing. And this is one of the things that I always ask myself, Lord, give me the necessary wisdom and strength to be able to provide with prudence right advice. Give me the patience to be able to listen to this other person about their personal issues. Because sometimes we get tied up with so much administrative activities that your schedule gets so tight that sometimes people want to know you're meeting with you, they need to talk, and you are tied into a meeting, things like that. So, but Lord, give me the necessary patience and strength and energy to do these things. Because at the same time, you maybe start getting tired, but you know that you're doing so to praise the Lord, and the Lord is using you as an instrument, and people is looking at you because they cannot look someplace else for that as well.
Yeah.
At the same time, I get surprised. Sometimes people come to me and they say, well, this person, it looks for me, is in the right direction with their spiritual life, that actually I need to learn from this person instead of me giving them advice. But they know, you see, that the priest has the faculties to do the sacrament of confession, reconciliation. So sometimes some of them are spiritually have more knowledge and wisdom on certain things, or the practices, but they have to come to us anyway to get these things. And that makes you also happy.
Yeah.
Because it's a way for them to grow in humility, and you also, that are needed for these things. And it is not just to praise me, but it's all there to be able to continue fulfilling the promises of serving God's people. In St. Catherine's, we had a wonderful experience there. People look to St. Catherine's as a place they can go and have reconciliation easily. We offer a lot of times for confessions. We are always there, the two priests, with Father Matthew listening to confessions, try to make and open our calendars for when people has a need or something. So I'm feeling that expectation of being a doctor of souls. Even sometimes also may feel I'm not doing enough, if it's the proper way or not. But at the end, you have to trust that the Lord is working and that it's still His work.
Yeah,
it's still
absolutely.
His work. And then you look at Saint Teresa of Lisieux, how young she was, her wisdom, and how she became holy through the daily day activities, trusting in God's providence. In that, you hear the story of St. Catherine of Siena. She never knew how to read or write, but she is a doctor of the church, of the wisdom. So you have to trust that the Lord, yes, with the help of the Holy Spirit, will provide to you the necessary tools sometimes, and that you are there mainly to listen and to serve as God's instruments for healing, for reconciliation. Of course, I have my difficulties because I'm still a human person and weakness.
Of course,
and I have my struggles sometimes with parishioners or arguments like that. But that's not limit my love or the way that I look at them as their pastor, and my concern for their spiritual well-being. And also in the school, it's the same thing. sometimes I ask a little more of their parents, of the student in spiritual life. But in like any child, sometimes I will say, well, they may not want to do it, you are asking too much, but at the end, it's
it's good for them.
Yeah, for their spiritual well-being. So
beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Father. I've really enjoyed sitting with you and chatting, and for our listeners, I hope that you got so many wonderful words of wisdom from Father Bill John and learning about your history, and also I loved hearing also about Our Lady of Guadalupe. That was so wonderful for me. So that's it for Meet the Priest for another week. Our thanks you again to Father Bill John for visiting with us today. If you're tuning in and you missed any part of our program, you can play our past shows by going to Catholic540am.org and click on local programs. You can also listen to our radio show and podcast on the Divine Mercy Radio smartphone app, available on the Apple App Store or on Google Play for Android users. Just search Divine Mercy Radio NC and download for free. The Executive Director of Catholic 540 AM Divine Mercy Radio is Cecilia Flannery. Our Director of Programming is Peter K. O'Connell. Our coordinating producer for Meet the Priest is Tina Dawson. Our engineer is Keith Flannery. I'm Nicole Jungles. Thanks for listening. May God bless you, and don't forget to say your rosary.
Well, I would like to thank you, Nicole, for this wonderful interview. As I said at the beginning, I normally don't like to be interviewed, but this was not painful at all. So thank you for the nice conversation. St. Catherine is a big supporter of Divine Mercy Radio. So I encourage all those who are listening to continue always being in tune to this station, which is 540. My prayers are with you, and our parishioners' support are always with the radio station as well. So thank you, Nicole, once again.
Thank you so much, Father.